Action.
Good morning, everybody. Remedy Israel bringing you more information. And this is basically about psychedelics again, from Stanislav Grof's book, Realm of the Human Unconscious, dealing with the different stages of your experience in your psychedelic session or psychedelic experience. And this is about the abstract and aesthetic experiences. These experiences are very sensual and include entoptic phenomena, which means visions from within the eye. So these experiences are very sensual and include entoptic phenomena, which are visions from within the eye, and after images with geometric or architectural patterns. Or to the opened eye, everything was perceived in movement, inanimate objects appearing to vibrate into life. And also, there were changes in oral function and picking up on sounds one might otherwise have not noted, and illusory sounds without a source. And there were also emotional responses to stimuli, like finding new dimensions in music. This is basically an excursion into the mind of different consciousness experiences and the different levels of consciousness, and then getting into the psychedelic experience, which is an experience which is mainly broadcasted from or dealing with the 5-hydroxytryptamine 2A receptor. And once that happens, that takes off the screening or the filtering mechanism that only allows you or the human brain to only think of one or two thoughts at one time. That filtering mechanism peels off, it dissolves off, and allows you to get into a more intense, and as Terence McKenna said, when you do these psychedelics, the language making capacity catalyzes, and it becomes that much more easier to access words that are like a perfect match, a hand-fitting glove to your exact situation and your experience. And through your psychedelic experience, you realize different levels of intelligence, different levels of intellectuality. I don't know if I just made that word up, but it sounded good to me. But yeah, this understanding of psychedelic substances and the effect on human psyche is very, very, very tremendous. It's very colossal, and it still baffles and confounds scientists to this very day. I remember watching a video on Terence McKenna, and he was talking about, I think he quoted a philosopher or some person who was very familiar with psychedelics. He said, if you want to look at the power of lysergic acid diethylamide, he said, look at the World Trade Center and the height and the colossal, tremendous, gigantic size of it. So think about the World Trade Center, how big it is, and then think about a little ant, the smallest ant you can think of, and just think about it just destroying and tearing apart the World Trade Center. That is the power of lysergic acid diethylamide. And like I said, it still to this day baffles science. Scientists are always baffled at what happens when you go into that psychedelic state that allows you to get access to certain information that you forgot about from your past. So for some reason, these substances unlock repressed concentrations of your thoughts and your experiences and your different aspects of your life. For some reason, the pressure on that seems to lessen up and lighten up, and then your thoughts, which are so packed together, which I guess you couldn't individualize to focus on to see the individuality of it, or the singleness of it, or the uniqueness of that certain thought. Since they're all crushed together, it releases it and puts a little space between each and every single thought and every emotion, and you're able to look at it in a more pellucid view. So with our understanding of psychedelics in relation to delving inside one's psyche and his or her expression or understanding of their self-image in this world, in this present situation. So it's all about expanded consciousness. It's all about a clearer, more pellucid way and view to this world. So the manifesting of the soul or the mind and its relation into the usual consciousness of humanity and the entrainment of everybody else, all of our intelligences and all of our thoughts growing together in a concrescence, a big melding, a big pot, a big gumbo pot of everybody's thoughts, in which that leaves sometimes a atmosphere of somewhat of a coloring to a environment which carries a certain energy with that. And all of these things are hidden deeply in the discussions, high esoteric discussions of consciousness, of higher sciences and everything like that. So basically, we just need to understand the origin of psychedelics and how it impacts our life. And they've discovered, what was it, not serotonin, or the ingesting of lysergic acid diethylamide shined a lot of light on the psyche, because some people feel like you have to disturb, or what is the word, perturb or disturb the usual state of consciousness, and kind of see it fall apart and break down, to see how it comes back to wholeness, how it builds itself back up and makes itself one or whole again. So they feel like you have to sometimes perturb our usual states of our concentrated thoughts and our concentrated thinking and our entrainment and our schemas and every single thing else. But it all has to do with channeling all of that information through that 5-hydroxytryptamine to a receptor. So let us dig deeper in the knowledge and in the endless storehouse that it enables us to come into contact with, because there are amazing abilities of these hallucinogens or these substances, and how they can, in terms of Tabernacle iboga, I think it's the West African shrub psychedelic plant, and it goes basic. When you take it, just one application, it takes the memory of your history of using of numerous drugs, and it takes that memory and wipes it clean. Then you have I guess, tabula rasa, a clean slate. But these psychedelics do a lot of things. They help people hear better. And mushrooms kind of is in the same shape of an ear. So mushrooms help you hear better. And even when you take a sub-threshold dose, a dose so small that you can't even realize or get a high from, when you take a dose that small, it increases your acuity, your vision, how you're able to see, the depthness, the pellucid, the lucid, clear ability and focusing, I guess you could say, collocating of your vision, the tightening of your focus of your vision. It does a lot of different things. If you have been holding in a lot of tears, it releases a lot, I guess, your lacrimal glands, and it releases the liquid which makes the tears from your eyes, and it forces you to do what you were naturally supposed to do. And all that negative energy that's trapped, it dissolves it, and it makes it more able to free itself and just flow out of you. So psychedelics are very significant in this world in terms of terminal illnesses, people accepting their diseases, accepting the negative parts of their of their body, of their mind, or whatever. And gives you another alternative view of the world, and you can actually for a second step out of the box. And now again, I repeat, I'm not promoting the usage of psychedelics, because anything that you do that is not mindfully thought through and prudently planned out, and if you haven't machinated a flawless scheme, then it's not going to work out. So with anything that we do, we need to be highly mindful of the effects, the consequence of it, the consequence of not taking it, the consequences of taking it, the benefits from it, the disadvantages, the pros, the cons. And really, we see the American government trying to push off drugs and things that kill you and that are just very harmful you, such as cigarettes and alcohol. And they cause so many deaths and so many accidents and everything like that, and change so many lives for the worse. And you have psychedelics, something that it's not really able to leave you addicted to it, because and it's neurotoxic. But these are all with the understanding that you do it in the right setting, the right dose, and you're just in your right state of mind. You're not just coming into this thing childishly and foolish. There are people who could benefit from psychedelics, whether they be from you having cluster headaches, whether you having nature deficit disorder, which it is a thing where humans have disconnected themselves through our materialistic nature. We have disconnected the connection from our natural state or our natural connection to nature, and we sometimes forget that we are part of nature, and that is a sickness in itself. But let us dig deep in the depths of the history of psychedelics and find out what we can do if they can be a benefit for our world and society. And if this world, which is in a very toxic state, the thing that we need, as Terence McKenna said, is more consciousness, more of a sense of awakeness, a wakeful state, to be in a constant state of wakefulness, not a sleepy, shambolic, just staggering clumsily through life energy, or demeanor. So let us be very conscious of the significance of psychedelics. Have a nice day. Like and unsubscribe. Peace.